artistic industry is quite competitive. There are a lot of artists there and only a few spots in museums or for the public funding or for the big events. So this also creates an obstacle because you hear a lot of no's, right? The same as in the actor industry, you keep hearing no's, and that can really discourage you because it can go for quite some time.
That's Maria Nek, founder of the European Cultural Academy, which aims to provide artists and creative talent with business skills and entrepreneurial support. The courses are held in Italy and the Netherlands, and they are one-of-a-kind experience. Maria herself is also amazing. She speaks 6 different languages, and in this conversation, she shares the ups and downs of building a company as an international female founder with a humanities background. Also, we discuss what are some of the things that artists fear and what one could expect from taking one of her courses. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this episode as you listen. You can find me on LinkedIn at Eric Melcher. You can tag me, say hello, let me know that you're listening. And now let's talk with Maria. What are 1 or 2 interesting things about you that most people don't know?
Okay. So I would say I'm a 3-time entrepreneur, and I almost gave up to the first one. So keep on hanging there. That's the first thing. I speak 6 languages, and it's a great advantage for anyone doing an international business. And also I do artistic projects on the side, so you can find me covered with paint in the center of the city doing a public art project if you're curious enough to visit me in Amsterdam or Venice.
You wouldn't be the first person that I went to meet and they were covered in paint. A few weeks ago, I had a call with somebody out of India, and he got on the Zoom phone call, and he was covered with paint, and he said, "Excuse me, it's one of our holidays where we throw paint at each other."
Wally, for sure. We live an interesting life, for sure.
Yeah. Well, very, very cool. That is many languages. We'll go into that later on during the interview. So where did you grow up, and how did that shape your view of the world, Maria?
Sure. So I come from a very international background. My mother is half Vietnamese. My father is half Russian, Ukrainian, Mongolian. I grew up in Russia and left it almost 20 years ago to go study in France, and then worked in Italy, Spain, and finally in the Netherlands. I would say that I work in education right now, and having this experience of 2 very different educational systems really helps, because I got experience of socialistic system when all my education was for free, and people were shocked the even possibility or thought that they have to pay for any kind of education from primary school to university. And then I also had experiences in Western Europe, for example, or UK and even the US, where it is very common that you have to pay or find a way, if it's not out of your own pocket and you can't afford it, to pay for the education. So, and it is, I think, very important once you start working in a particular industry, check how it is done in different parts of the world, because it can give you very interesting ideas and also what your clients might look like.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that your parents, a mixture of Vietnamese, Mongolian, Ukrainian, and Russian.
Yes.
Was there one dominant culture that you would say, hey, this is the culture I was mostly familiar with as a child?
No, I would say that it is a total mix where all the cultures are not given a priority, but it's just the way of a melting pot that you grew up with. So dinners can look very interesting, as well as the holiday, because you could have, for example, 2 types of Christmases, and then a Lunar New Year would come. And then in the Vietnamese culture, during the Lunar New Year, this is the time also where everybody celebrates their birthdays. So it was very natural for me growing up. And then it's only till much late in life I realized that not everyone actually lives like this and have many presents during the year.
Yeah. And I imagine come New Year's Eve, when you're celebrating with friends, wherever that may be, maybe Spain, Italy, or the Netherlands, you're aware of like other traditions that these other cultures have during this time and what they're doing. And so does that ever happen to you? Is there a conflict? Like, okay, I've got to do this one tradition, but I've got another tradition right after this and then another one?
I'm very fortunate to have very open-minded friends, and also the ones who could take anything to increase their luck. So whatever we're doing, eating grapes, burning candles, whatever you can do that has a hint or a slight promise of making you happy, me and my friends were on it. So I hope that there are a lot of spirits somewhere that will give a lot of work, and hopefully they give us a lot of luck as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the eating grapes one. How is it? Is it 12 grapes or something at midnight in Spain?
Yes,
Was that
exactly,
it? Yeah.
exactly. With when the clock starts. So with each bell, you get to eat one grape. Be very careful. In before.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Now tell us a little bit about the history and the mission of the European Cultural Academy. This is your program. Tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. So European Cultural Academy is a Dutch company. We are registered and we operate from Amsterdam. It's a private education company that was an iteration of many projects that I had on the intersection of art and education management. So we are a private education organization focusing on art and architecture. We do professional development courses for different organizations. Our clients are mainly architecture schools and universities that want to have international experience for their students, public schools in Europe that want to help their teachers grow, and then also artistic communities, so artists, curators, art dealers that want to do a next big project in their career. And what we focus on is immediate impact and high quality education. So you work very hard in a very short time and you see the result. We started in Amsterdam, and then now we also expanded to Venice and Barcelona. So we're looking for nice inspirational locations, nice food, and nice travel.
Yeah, beautiful images on the website of Venice. I was poking around there. So can you walk us some of the programs and courses that you guys offer, and what are the benefits for the people that are participating in these programs?
Yes, sure. So we have both B2C and B2B programs. So I'll start with B2C because I think that might be more interesting for the audiences. We have two programs. One is called Contemporary Art Roadmap for Your Next Project. And then the second is Venice Biennale Revealed. So we found out that a lot of artists, they already have established practices, but they're still big dreamers and they want to have amazing projects. And there are two things that can help to do that. Either to do a big international project, a project that is attached to a big international event like Venice Biennale, which is the largest contemporary art event in the world, or they want to do the next big project, but there is some psychology in their heart and mind that impedes them to do so. Imposter syndrome, don't have enough money, I'm that and that, my background, I don't have a degree in art, etc. So we created two programs that address that. The first allows artists to learn a lot about Venice Biennale, how it's organized, the funding, and how they can become participants there, in what capacity. And then the second is, if you have a dream that you keep coming into and you need inspiration and support to do a project, then you come to Amsterdam or Venice for 2 weeks, and then you work with experts to have next 5 steps rolled out and get inspired and pumped into living with tears, but a very solid plan of how you can make your dream a reality.
Yeah. So I never imagine artists, and I could be completely wrong here, Maria, but I never imagine artists really have imposter syndrome, because I look at their work, they create this work. And for me, in my perception, it's a display of who they are. Like, it's an outwardly as expression of who they are. And because of that, I've always felt artists are very confident and not afraid to be bold, build something new, create something new, and express themselves. But you're saying, at least what you're saying is that artists do have imposter syndrome, and maybe they're reluctant to maybe display some of their works, or maybe try to have a showing at a museum. I mean, what are some of the things that they fear and that you guys help assist with and overcome?
art is a very specific industry because it is personal. So you have to be extremely vulnerable, pouring your heart out or pouring some experiences in your life that are very personal and letting the public make judgments about that. So sometimes artists can be hesitant to do that. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is that artistic industry is quite competitive. There are a lot of artists there and only a few spots in museums or for the public funding or for the big events. So this also creates an obstacle because you hear a lot of no's, right? The same as in the actor industry, you keep hearing no's, and that can really discourage you because it can go for quite some time. So knowing that there is a community where you come and you can find the right opportunities for you, that's the first thing. And then you can find very practical tools of what you can do when you have this imposter syndrome, when you feel it, just to come back on track and just keep going, knowing that you have the talent, keep showing up. This is where the artist needs support. And this is where I think we find that we have the most impact. And that's for the B2C courses. And for the B2B, we are working with architecture schools and with public schools. And this is about our own methodology that we developed, which is learning and teaching through art. Because we found out that art can be a very powerful tool to address many challenges, from bullying to sustainability to increasing attention in the classroom. So we developed a methodology and we work now with universities from all over the world. So from Melbourne to UCLA, from Oxford to Cambridge, to do the programs where students come and they learn through art. And we also work with the European Union, one of their programs where any teacher from any public school in Europe can come and get the funding to learn about the methodology and then implement it in the classroom.
Okay. Is there any sort of collaboration and any sort of networking between the current participants and ECA alumni that occurs?
Yes. So actually, I'm embarrassed to say that I mute all the alumni chats after the course finishes because I just checked before our meeting. The last year course, which was 10 months ago, for this week has 130 messages. So people are very active afterwards. And then what we do, it is the right collaboration for the right artist. So we don't think that we need to create a project specifically for this artist. We look at everyone that we have and we think this can be a good collaboration. We put people in touch. And what I like is that it's not only about certain projects. So for example, there are people usually have similar backgrounds. For example, curator working with the topic of sustainability and an artist interested in this topic. Then they start a project together. We had an example of 3 people from different cohorts coming. They started a residency in New York, which was amazing. It was for women artists.
They know each other previously or no?
No. They lived between US and Canada, so they didn't know. And then they started a residency. And then because they all met in Italy, they afterwards decided to do a residency in Italy as well. And then other alumni also came and they spent, I think, a month in a beautiful Italian village working on their art project.
That is such a cool success story for people or for your alumni. Any other ones that you would like to share, Maria?
I would say that one that really warms my heart are the stories where a person didn't really feel that they could be an artist or they can work in the arts. We had a story of a lawyer from Australia who came and she was so shy to tell her family that she has interest in contemporary art and wants to become an artist that she told them that she's going to a business school executive education course instead of coming to an art course. So then 2 weeks later, she really found her passion. We helped her to define the discipline that she's interested in, and we're still in touch. And she started her artistic practice. And that was good. And then the second was a very successful businessman who owns several factories in Middle East that has nothing to do with art. he turned out that he really wanted to become an artist all his life, but he had to support his family and he was focusing on different things. So we helped him to develop his art practice. And last year, during the opening of the Venice Biennale, we helped him build an 8R structure. So it was an 8R sculpture of a certain form that floated over San Marco Square. And that was an amazing moment where we all gathered and we thought, it took you 60 years, but you're finally an artist, you are there. So this is very emotional moments for me when I remember those students.
Isn't it crazy that somebody who was successful like that for many, many years, and you said he had multiple factories or businesses or whatever, and they do something that they've been really passionate about. They've been haven't been able to explore that side of themselves. And then when they're finally able to do it, there's this sense of like overwhelming joy, a sense of fulfillment that they never got from maybe the other thing that they were actually really good at was business and whatever else. I totally can understand that. I had a job I really loved. I was doing what I wanted to do, but I created a kids nonprofit on the side and working with the kids and seeing, their joy and their passion and their love for competition. It gave me a sense of fulfillment that I never got from my regular job. And it seems to me that these people that are attorneys, highly successful people, they're considered a success in their own career by other people, but yet inside they're almost afraid to share what it is that they really want to do. And you're kind of helping them get this outlet, like this bridge, where they can explore it from a safe place and realize that there's other people that they can network with and build relationships with and be a part of a community for other people that are going through the same journey as them. That's really, really nice. Now, tell me about the aha moment when you thought of creating the ECA. I mean, when did that moment occur, Maria?
I started doing cultural projects, so producing exhibitions, producing cultural events because I wanted to move to the arts after a career in education management. I used to work in a business school and I worked in, big educational organizations. And the aha moment was when it was during opening of the event. I haven't slept for, I think, 14 days at that moment. And I realized that I was standing in the beautiful room filled of beautiful art with a glass of Prosecco, and I was not enjoying it. And I realized that the moment that I enjoyed most was all connected to education. It was all connected when everything that was created, I shared with the public. So then I went to a person who I knew was interested to work with me and could become my investor. And I said, this is what I want to do. Can you support this project? Can we be partners? And that's how it started.
Okay. Now, what were some of the obstacles that you faced in getting this off the ground and making it to where it is today?
Where do we start? Oh. It's a very long I think that there are two main things that took time for the business to become successful. The first is to find the right business model, and that means to find the revenue stream that is sustainable, scalable, and can be done in different environments, right? So if you start in one city or one country, we really struggled to get to a point where we can then replicate the same amazing experience in a different city in a different country. It took some time. Now we have it. Great. The second was you want to start with a diverse portfolio, but you can't because you don't have enough money or resources in terms of human resources. So in that case, the biggest challenge, like for many entrepreneurs, was COVID. We started with something that was very personal experience that had to have this feeling of inspirational location, and then it was not possible anymore. So that was a big challenge.
Okay. Now, can you kind of just share if somebody were to do one of these events or one of these programs, like in Italy, for example, and what I saw on the website, I think it was about a three-week course, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. So we have from 1 to 3 weeks. So 1, 2, and 3 weeks.
Okay. Is it you personally involved on the ground? Are you there making appearances, here and there, like 1 or 2 days, or is there somebody else that's overseeing the day-to-day efforts?
So we have a team in each of the 3 cities. I do the curriculum, so I make sure that the curriculum is up to our standards. And I also do certain lectures that are on the behind the scenes of the Biennale, sharing my experience. And if we have the projects where we have project presentations, I'm a part of the jury. So, and then we have excellent trainers, but also excellent project and program managers and a program director that supports students on the ground.
Okay. Now, because this appeals to teachers, educators, as well as art students and professionals who are looking for a change, like I imagine there's a wide range of diverse people on these tours, or is it typically like one type of person?
Yes. We, in general, we're open to everybody because we really think that there is a place in the art world for everybody. In terms of nationalities, the whole world really counts. That's very true, the whole world. In terms of the groups, it tend to be adults. So rather than students, so from, I think, 25 and up to 65. And more or less, I think that 50% are professionals, so people already working in the industry and looking for next upgrade. About 30% are art lovers or career turners, the one who are looking for the right opportunity. And about 10%, which is a very interesting demographic for us, are art collectors. Because they come because they want to see the emerging talent and what's going on. So these are very interesting because they already probably know most of the things. They're just interested to see who is there. And it's not uncommon that they start buying the art already from the students because that's why they're there. Very smart, I must say, very smart strategy.
Yeah, it is a smart strategy. Okay. And how are you getting traction? Obviously, you've got programs that are being filled. People are coming. Mm-hmm. Like, what worked for you in terms of getting the word out, Maria?
So it is a very saturated space, I must say. One of the reasons is that it seems easy to make an art project or an art program, but actually it's not. So I think what worked is that we really took time to develop a methodology, and we really took time to develop programs with learning methodologists, with educational specialists. We know that the product is good. And that what I think makes a big difference. That's the first thing. The second thing, we understood who we are. And then again, if you're thinking about scaling, we knew who we are, and we defined the things that would be us in any program that we do, in our presentation or in a 3-week course. For us, it is, for example, Venice is an important place, so we defined what is Venice for us. For us, Venice is a combination of new and old. For us, Venice is incredibly beautiful, inspirational locations. So wherever we go, if we go to New York, I would make sure that I'll find a beautiful abandoned church to make a masterclass, And that will be the new technology and the old church, this juxtaposition. Finding who we are, the product is good, and then the third, we found the people who became our friends. We didn't go to everybody because we're not for everybody, but we found people who understood what we do, and then there was a lot of then goodwill to collaborate. And I think that's extremely important, just to see that we can do something together.
Absolutely. I mean, realizing that, hey, you've got a program that's not fit for everybody. You know who you are, and you know what you're providing. And if people want to be a part of that, then even better, because those people are probably going to spread the word about you guys, about the ECA with other people, and it's just a cycle that repeats itself. Okay, so Maria, I've got some fun questions for you, rapid fire questions. Give me the first answer that pops into your head. You ready?
I'm scared, but let's do it.
Which country has better food? France, Spain, Italy, or the Netherlands?
Easy, Italy.
Favorite language? Your favorite language you enjoy speaking?
Italian.
Oh, okay. I think. Okay. Number one strategy to prioritize your time, Maria?
AI.
All right. Okay. What is a favorite TV show that you can watch again and again?
I don't watch TV shows. I don't watch TV.
Okay. The most interesting thing you did in the last 26 days?
The most interesting thing I did in the last hugged an ice sculpture for 6 hours.
What?
Art project.
What were you wearing? Like
It was a performance. It was a performance art project about the effects of the climate change. I had an ice sculpture. With my shape. Yeah.
Is there a video of this that you can share with me?
It's in preparation.
Okay, please send it. I like to include it with the show when it's published.
That's not expected, no.
What was going on in your head this during this entire time?
It's very cold, and I hope that I can survive this.
Okay, Maria, where can our audience learn more about you?
ECA.art.
All right, Maria, è stato un piacere parlare con te.
Grazie mille. È stato un piacere. Grazie.
I had a lot of fun chatting with Maria. I typically interview tech startup founders, so it was interesting to chat with an entrepreneur from a different background, but yet has the same aspiration of wanting to help people and grow a business. And she's so nice that you can't help but want to go out and check out a museum, maybe go for a walk in Venice or Florence or just anywhere where it's got nice architecture and you feel like you're within or among art. Anyway, if you want to learn more about Maria, go to eca.art. Links to all of this are in the show notes. Thank you to Maria for being on the show, and I look forward to seeing you in the summer in the Netherlands. If you like this episode, feel free to subscribe here on YouTube. Tell others about it, and have a great day. Cheers.